Alright, so this is quarter 3, week 4, and this is our third week of commas. Alright, comma rule number 9. This one's called the interrupter. We're going to use commas to set apart a word or phrase that interrupts a sentence. My mom, however, thinks we should walk to school together. So, however, would be considered an interrupter, so we're going to put a comma on either side of it. Whenever I get the chance, which isn't very often, I like to go fishing. Same thing, which isn't very often, is going to be an interrupter, so we're going to put commas on either side. One way to figure out if something's an interrupter, if you can completely take it out of the sentence and the sentence still makes sense, it might be an interrupter. Okay, so whenever I get the chance, I like to go fishing. You don't need, which isn't very often, as a clause in the sentence. It interrupts the rest of the sentence. So that's why we separate it with commas. Now, I don't need you to know that these are called appositives. You just need to know what they are. But we're going to use commas to set apart a word or phrase that explains the noun before or after it. You're essentially renaming something. So, Mr. Johnson, my coach, is having a party for us. My coach is Mr. Johnson. I'm just renaming him using a different way, so people know what I'm talking about. But because my coach is just restating what I've already said, I'm going to put commas on either side of it. This acts as an interrupter. If we got rid of my coach, the sentence would still make sense. My sister's friend, Derek renames my sister's friend, will meet us at the beach. So we're going to put commas on either side of Derek. When this happens when it's somebody's name, it's called an appositive. But I don't need you to know that. I just need you to know where the commas go. Rule number 11. Adjectives. We're going to use commas to separate two or more descriptive adjectives in a row. Now, when one is a color or number, you do not use a comma. When one is a color or number, you do not need a comma. Okay, so the big round ball. Big and round are both adjectives. So we're going to put a comma between them. The blue shiny balloon. Blue and shiny are both adjectives, but blue is a color, so we're not going to use a comma. The gentle, soft kitten. Gentle and soft are both adjectives, so we put a comma between them. 4 soft kittens. 4 and soft are both adjectives, but 4 is a number, so we do not use a comma. So you have to ask yourself, is one a color or a number? And if not, if one is a color or a number, you do not need a comma. If one is not, you do. Quotations. We're going to use a comma to separate a quote from who said it. So, we're going to get ice cream after dinner, said Dad. The comma goes in front of the quotation mark. Comma goes in front of the quotation mark. That is not a very good arrow. Dad said, we're going to get ice cream after dinner. Comma after said. Again, it goes before the quotation marks. We're going to get ice cream, said Dad, after dinner. Okay, so we have to separate said Dad from two parts of the quote. The comma goes before the quotation marks on both sides. Okay? Before the quotation mark. And rule number 13, and we already know this one. When two complete sentences are joined by a fanboys, we're going to use a comma before the conjunction or fanboy. So fanboy is just another word for coordinating conjunctions. So, if you have two complete sentences, you got to make sure that they're two complete sentences or two independent clauses, then we use a comma. John swam is a complete thought on its own, and Polly jumped is a complete thought on its own, and is our fanboy, so we use a comma before it. However, if we have John swam and jumped, we will not use a comma because jumped is not a complete thought on its own. You have to make sure that both halves of the sentence could stand alone. Vocab for this week. Your first word is evaluate. The students were evaluated on their knowledge. Anxious is feeling nervous, worried, or afraid. The girl was anxious to give her speech. Affectionate. Feeling and showing love for others. The affectionate child loved to give her friends hugs. Cooperative, being able to work well with others. Groups work best when everyone is cooperative. And sincere means honest and open. The girl was sincere in her apology. Practice for this week. Copy the following into your notes. Place commas where they belong. Katie, John's sister, rode my bike. The elegant formal dress. Let's go, I said. And I like golf and my brother likes swimming. When you finish the practice, you can write your 20-word summary, place your notes in the back of your grammar folder, and bring them with you on Monday.